It's going to be like this the whole time. So just hold on to your hats and open your hearts and absolutely welcome Mr. Andy Ross.
Thank you. What's up? I say what's up. No, I didn't have to say a word. I'm going to move this out of my box. I've been given a box. Have you? Well, are you my roadie? Thank you, roadie. Half a roadie? You're an OD? Or just a D? Half the fee. I don't have to pay you much at all. Wonderful. I'll take 0. I'll multiply it times 50. And then I'll half that. And then I'll add another. Well, I'll multiply it again and I'll give you that.
Okay. I'm good with it.
So how are you tonight? Good. I'm good too. Thank you, Sandy. That was good. I'm honored to even possess a part of your name. Just a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So, true abundance. I mean, that's the title of the talk, right? That's a good title, don't you think? You know, if I saw a title like that on like a piece of paper somewhere, you know, floating around, like floating and landing in my hand, I would say, I got to go hear that person speak. I mean, that's true abundance. That's not fake abundance, false abundance. It's true abundance. I mean, this is good stuff. I want to hear about this. I want to be there, and then I'd do everything I can to alter my life around just being here in this moment to hear someone speak about true abundance. That's good. Man, I want to talk about that. So a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Denise emails me and says, hey, Andy. And I email her back because it's a very short email. I say, hey, Denise. And she emails me back, and this goes on for a while. I'm like, let's just get to the point, Denise. You're in Africa. I have things to do. You're in the bush. I'm out of the bush. She says, what are you going to talk about on Wednesday, June 17th? You know, you're coming and you're talking to us. What are you going to say? What are you going to talk about? And at the time, I'm looking around, and it's becoming all summery and springy. You know, trees are popping out. Flowers are coming out to say hello. Hello, singing songs and whatnot. Ants in my kitchen, which I kill. Which doesn't seem right for some reason, but you do it anyway. Yes, oh, you come get the food that's poison. And you carry it back to your home. So terrible. So I email her back and I say, you know, trees and stuff. Abundance. I'm going to talk about true abundance. And I write her this little blurb, this really like groovy, intelligent blurb about it, like about living abundantly in truth and whatnot. And then about a week or so ago, I start allowing the talk to form itself. Because that's what you have to do, you know. Any artist knows, or any body knows that you, or any human knows, or any being knows that when you have something that you want to do, you want to say, you want to give, you got to chip away at it and let it find itself and let it find you. So as I'm doing this week, I really want to talk about abundance. You know, I want to so bad. And I keep putting abundance in there, but it keeps falling away. And falling away time and time again. And eventually I figure out that this talk is not really about abundance at all. So don't tell Denise. But it actually turns out that I'm not talking about true abundance at all. I mean, I wanted to so bad. It seemed like a groovy idea, groovy, you know, talk. People be talking, oh, abundance and whatnot. But I'm not going to talk about that at all. And it just seems that so often in my life, I don't know if you're the same, or different, or abnormal, or normal, that we always want something to be the way we think it's going to be. You know? We have this idea in our head about how our life's going to go, who we are, who I am, what perfection is, what this talk is going to be about, and we put it out there and we hold on to that idea with dear life and say, this is what it's going to be about, this is what I'm going to talk about, this is who I am, this is what my life is going to be about, this is successful, and in the end, we always got to let it go. Don't you hate that? And love it at the same time. So I let go of the idea of true abundance, and I allowed the talk to find me. So it's not going to be about abundance at all, but it is going to be about a tree. I see. So you can tell Denise that I was close. And I think I said tree abundance, Sandy. Tree abundance. That's why you're the S in my name. I thought my wife was the sh in my name, but you're the S in my name. So in the blurb I wrote Denise, I did mention tree once. So it's going to be about a tree. So here I am. We move into our home in Wake Forest, North Carolina. We live right above Raleigh, a beautiful little town, gorgeous. And in my front yard, there's this tree. And we move in about February. And you know that in February, in the midst of winter, everything is stark and cold and empty and kind of mystical. You can feel almost this death that's alive everywhere. So this tree is like that. This tree is there in my front yard, and it's empty, and it's dead, and it's void, but it's still alive and beautiful and magnificent. But then, you know, winter turns to spring, spring turns to summer, and all of a sudden, out of this tree in my front yard, it just starts exploding and expressing itself and giving itself and unleashing this boundless potential, you know, this effortless expression. And everywhere, it's not just this tree, but everywhere around me, I don't know if you've noticed, if you can see it or you can feel it, but everywhere around me at this time of year, life seems to be popping out. And everywhere you look, it's just magnificent, yet effortless and beautiful, and this glorious expression of authenticity that you feel has something to teach you. And that's what I felt about this tree when I saw it. I said, this tree has something to teach me about authenticity, about expressing myself, about abundance. Okay, maybe we will talk about that. So what do I do? Anytime you have a question, what do? You ask. So I go out one morning while my wife's still asleep and my kids are still asleep because I don't want them to see me talking to a tree. So I go out and I say, Mr. Tree, Mrs. Tree, Mr., Mrs., Mr. Tree, when I see you, I see magnificence. I see you expressing yourself. I see you giving yourself. All I see is effortless authenticity. You seem to be exactly who you're meant to be in this moment. Anytime I see you, and it seems just to be so magnificent, authentic, and effortless. And tell me, Mr. Tree, Mrs. Tree, how I too can be that. How can I be authentic? How can I express myself authentically? How can I be exactly who I'm meant to be in every moment? How can I make decisions that are authentic, that are truly mine and mine alone, and express a life that is mine? Because I want that. I think we all want that. We all want to make decisions and do things in our life that are authentically ours. We want to live the life we're destined for. We want to do things that reach down and seem to express something that no one else can express but us. And we want that to be our life, this magnificent, effortless, harmonious expression of authenticity. We want to be ourselves. And how hard do we try? How much money do we spend? How much time do we spend trying to be us? How can I be me, Mr. Tree? I'm going to say Mr. It was a boy. It was big. And the tree answered me. Of course it did. I know, because no one was looking. When you're looking, the tree just sits still. You're like, hey, check it out. I'm going to talk to this tree. And the tree just... and then they go back inside, and the tree goes... But the tree answered me. And the tree says, Andy, without the S, the first thing you need to do is stop trying to be a tree. You're not a tree. You're you, and I'm me. I'm not an oak. I'm not a flower. I'm not a California redwood. I'm just me. And I express myself as I am. I'm just this tree. And the effortlessness you see was already here within me before I was even born. I started as a little seed. And everything I needed to be my authentic self was already there, present in that little seed. In fact, everything I needed to be my authentic self, everything I need to be myself right now, was there before time even began. It was present, and all I have to do is express it. That's it. All I have to do is express what was already there in that seed and just be that all the time. It's effortless. It's easy. I just get out of the way and let it go. And that sounded good to me. I was like, yeah, tree. Perhaps everything I need to be authentically me, perhaps everything I need to express myself as I need to live up to my destiny is already here. Perhaps everything you need to express yourself the way you need to express yourself, authentically you, the decisions you make, the jobs you have, the people you come in contact with, perhaps everything you need is already there. And maybe it was there before time even began, just sitting there, waiting for you to express it. So that seemed like such a good idea to me, that this tree told me that all I need to do is allow it to be. All I need to do is get out of the way and allow it to express itself through me, to stop trying out here to find who I am. We go on these journeys. We're going to go to the Himalayas, and we're going to go to South Carolina. We're going to go to mystical places like this, and we're going to seek to find ourselves. Where are you going? I'm going to find myself. Who's going? I am. And where are you going? I'm going to find myself. Who are you taking with you? Me. And on the way, we find something, and we bring it back. And we say, Sandy, I was in South Carolina. It was crazy. I was in a dark room, and I found something. It was me. And I brought it back. But these mystical journeys we take have nothing to do with this out here. We go in here and we find something, we bring it back. It was there when we left. We packed it and we took it with us. And all we have to do is find it and express it. And it's everywhere we are. It's where you are right now. And this is what the tree told me. The tree told me it's all here in me and it's here in you. All you got to do is find it and express it. Discover the thing that's there that's aching to get out. Because you can feel it, can't you? You can feel it aching in every decision you make. Every time you make a decision, you feel something just burning to get out. The right decision, I guess we could call it. The thing that wants to express itself through you. Authenticity. Your true self. And I was like, yeah. I was like, Tree, that's good stuff, bro. I said, Tree, that's good. But wait. Before I go inside, Tree. Before I go inside. Tell me. How do I do it? There has to be some method. There has to be some way, because I hear what you're saying. You're talking about allowing. You're talking about authenticity. You're talking about just being. You're talking about getting out of the way and just allowing it to be. You're saying when I wake up in the morning, I'm already me. You're saying when I go to bed at night, I'm me. And in the middle of the night, when I'm deep within my own consciousness with no thoughts, nothing, just in space, I am still me. You're saying before Abraham, I am, right? Tree, is that what you're saying? So, yeah, sure, whatever. Before Abraham, I am. Before you, I am. Before the foundations of the earth, I am. That's what you're saying. And all I have to do is allow it. Let it be. That's all I have to do. That's what Paul was talking about. But I'm so darn distracted. Because while I'm trying to be effortlessly and authentically me, while I'm trying to let it be, while I'm trying to make decisions from that place here, while I'm trying to find out who is this self, what is this person, what am I supposed to do, what is my destiny, what Paul Coelho and the Alchemist called your personal legend, what is my destiny, where am I to go, everything out here is also telling me what my authentic self is. Buy this shirt. Be authentically you. Drive this car. You ever seen a car commercial? They never say anything about cars. You know, they're just some guy driving down the road. Be authentically you. And he drives off. You're like, wait, what? How many doors does it have? Is it V12? Be authentically you. It's all vying for your attention everywhere you go. Your family, your church, society. Mother culture, the whisper, TV, entertainment, music, magazines, screaming at you. This is you. This is what you should be. This is your authentic self. And it's so distracting. Because every decision you make, when you're trying to make it from that space, you have 5 or 10 1,000 other people telling you what you should do to be authentically you. So how can I possibly make a decision in this life from an authentic place? How can I possibly decide who I am when you're all trying to tell me who I am too? You just want to scream. You want to shake the TV, don't you? Don't you? Say it.
Yeah.
Shake it. Come on. Well, okay then. I'll shake the TV. The magazines who say this is what you should look like. This is what you should be. This is what success is. It's painful. It's distracting. So I said, Tree, I'm so distracted by all the noise, by all the movement. I can't think straight. I can't make an authentic decision when I hear so much other stuff. And you know what the tree told me? It's pretty miraculous. The tree said, I don't worry about growing up. I focus on growing down. And this just takes care of itself. My jaw dropped. I was like, yeah. Because I know exactly what that means. Yeah. That's deep. That's deep. You know the look you get when people tell you things you have no idea what they're talking about yet? You play with your belly button a little bit? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm just wrapping my brain around it. I think the tree could tell I had no idea what he was talking about because he laughed in that tree way. It could have been the wind, but I think he was laughing. So I was like, what does that mean? And the tree told me, don't worry about it. Go inside and read. Get a cup of coffee. You'll figure it out later. So I did. I said, bye, tree. I went inside, and the last book I was reading was called The Phenomenon of Man. It was a book by Pierre Teilhard. And, yeah, his last name is Chard. No, he's a Jesuit priest, and he's a paleontologist who lived a while back, and he's writing about the evolution of consciousness, and he's writing about how consciousness propels us forward toward our omega point, which is God, And the next book I was going to read was going to be this book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell. I've read most of it before, but it's about the hero's journey and myth and mythology, and these big-headed, long books that make me feel so smart when I'm in the coffee shop, and I'm like, yeah. This is by a guy you can't even pronounce when I drink my coffee. But I was telling my wife that. I was telling her, I said, this is the next book I'm going to read. And she said, why? It's the summertime. Why don't you read a story? Just pick a book. Just read a story. You're driving me crazy. So I said, sure. I'll read a story. Yeah, won't take me long. So I did it. I went inside and I picked up this book that had been on my shelf for like 10 years. And the reason I bought it in a little used bookshop in Los Angeles because I had just seen the movie. And I was like, ooh. And the movie had like these kind of mystical undertones, and it was about this, this caddy. The book is called The Legend of Bagger Vance. Ooh, you've seen it. The caddy is played by Will Smith, who tries to do a southern accent, The grass goes one way in the morning, or in the afternoon. One way in the morning, or in the afternoon. And then I think Matt Damon plays the golf guy. But I hadn't read this. I hadn't read the book. It's been on my shelf for 10 years. And right there in that moment, I was like, I'm going to pick this book up and read it because it seems very groovy. And this is what I read. So the tree said, go inside and pick up a book. So I picked this up book. And this is what Bagger Vance, this golf caddy, is on the greens in the middle of the night with another golf caddy. And they're talking. And this is what Bagger Vance tells this other golf caddy. I believe that each of us possesses inside ourselves one true, authentic swing that is ours and ours alone. It is folly to try to teach us another or mold us to some ideal version of the perfect swing. Each player possesses only that one swing that he was born with, that swing which existed within him before he ever picked up a club. Like the statue of David, our authentic swing already exists, concealed within the stone, so to speak. Then our task as golfers, according to this line of thought, is simply to chip away at all that is inauthentic, allowing our authentic swing to emerge in its purity. He goes on to talk about the authentic swing as the authentic self. The you that was you before time began. The you that was there in the beginning. And I'm going to talk about the beginning. You know, you read in Genesis, in the beginning. Well, that has nothing to do with the beginning. It has something to do with right now. Because everything is being created right at this moment, right now. And there in that moment exists this authentic you that is just begging to be expressed in your life. And Bagger Vance, who plays like the Jesus character, he's basically an incarnation of God. You know, it follows the Bhagavad Gita, which is this old ancient Hindu text that we could talk about, but let's not get distracted. So he basically plays the incarnation of God, and he says that this self you're looking for, this authentic swing, the authentic you, the true you that you are, is me, screaming to be expressed in your life. But the greatest thing about this book, where the tree was directing me, is that he actually said how to do it. In this conversation he's having with the other caddy, he actually gives 3 steps to finding your authentic self, to learning how to tap into that and expressing who you are in every moment of every day, in every decision with your children, at work, no matter where you are, being authentically you in that moment now. And he does so in the term of yoga. Y'all heard that word before? Yoga? And he says, that's what he told him. He said, just do this until it really hurts. And then do it some more in the heat. But yoga, I mean, what we have now in yoga is actually a very small fraction of what yoga actually is. Yoga is this ancient Hindu thought process and practice. And the word yoga actually means to yoke. It means union, to unify. And what are we trying to unify? Our thoughts, our body, our ideas about ourselves, our entire reality. We're trying to yoke that to our authentic self, to Atman, to that thing within us which is one with God. So Bagger Vance tells him that there are 3 yogas that you can use to find your authentic swing, your authentic self, what this tree was talking about, living effortlessly and harmoniously. And he breaks them down this way. He says there's the yoga of discipline, there's the yoga of wisdom, and then there's the yoga of love. And if you look back into the Hindu traditions way, way, way back, you find that these are 3 very distinct schools of thought. But what I have found when I looked at them is that you can actually use these 3 to create a specific spiritual practice in your lives. You can use these 3, going from discipline to wisdom to love, and learn by practicing this to express yourself authentically. So I thought I'd share this with you. Tree, Bagger, me, you. So he begins with the yoga of discipline. And he does so because we have to have an authentic spiritual practice. We have to have something that we're disciplined to do every single day. And we all know what that one thing is. We all have a certain practice, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's art, whether it's a very specific form of yoga or meditation or Tai Chi. That one practice that you do that puts you into contact with your authentic self, with that stillness. And you can feel it when you do it, when you do that one thing, whatever that thing is. That thing when you do it, when you walk in nature, when you ride your bike, that puts you into contact with this stillness. And you can feel that this is where life arises from. This is where my life begins, here in this space, in this moment. When I'm here, I feel the echo of creation pulsing through me. And we usually make these things recreational, you know? Like, what's your favorite thing to do? Oh, I like to walk in the woods. When do you do it? Once a month. When's the last time you did it? 2010. So what, Sandy, do you eat?
I do eat.
Do you eat like every day?
Yeah.
You're blowing me away. Why do you eat every day? Because you got to eat every day. It's very important. Sleep. Sandy, do you sleep? Yes, Sandy, sleep. Nice, Sandy. You're my man. You got to sleep every day. These things are priorities. So why don't you make that thing a priority? Say that this is important. This is dire. That's a strong word. This is dire in my life. I need to do this one. It can be just 5 minutes, but I need to do this thing every day. That's why they say discipline. Because it's a discipline. Because you're going to be distracted. There are going to be kids yelling. There are going to be work deadlines. There's going to be things. But you stop and eat, don't you? You eventually go to sleep. Well, do this thing. Do it every single day. That one thing that puts you in that space and you feel the stillness, the silence, the echo of creation. You said, this is where I'm God. Here and now, here. And do it every single day. And that is the yoga of discipline. It's that simple. Bagger Vance next said, we go to the yoga of wisdom. Why? Because when you're in that space, you listen. You pay attention. And you learn something without learning, without knowing it. Something you can't grasp. Something you don't know what it is. But you get something there. You get this sense of who you really are. This is who I am. This is what I am. In this moment, this is my authentic self. This is where Atman, God, dwells within me. And you take that to your heart and you take it out with you. And the more you do it, it's really groovy. The more you go into these spaces, the more you notice that no matter how loud life gets, no matter how much distraction, no matter how much movement there is, there's always this stillness beneath it. Everywhere you go. It's amazing. The more you go to this stillness, the more you realize you don't have to go there. You do it as a discipline. You do it as a practice. You do it because you have to do it to remind yourself that it's there all the time. And then you'll be walking down the street. Loudness, billboards, signs. This is you. This is you. Drive this car. Buy this sweatshirt. This make you happy. But beneath all that, you'll start to notice, oh, it's still here. That's wisdom. That's what wisdom is knowing that, realizing that, and feeding off of it all the time. Because it's always there. No matter how much I move, there's a stillness that feeds the movement. You can't have movement without stillness, without space. No matter how loud I get and obnoxious, which is what my wife says, there's always a silence that feeds it. So you discipline yourself to doing that thing, that your thing, every single day. And you find out who you are in there, and you carry it with you. Now, when he got to the third one, Bagger, Will Smith, very groovy, Southern, Will Smith. When he got to the third one, he said, and this one is the most important. Which is interesting because when Paul was writing his letter to the Corinthians way back when, he said, we have faith, we have hope, we have love, but the most important of these is love. Without love, we are nothing. So that when Bagger says, well, when we get to the yoga of love, that's the one that's most important. Why did he say that? Because it's true. Can we just stop there? Because it's true. It's so profound. Because when you go into that space, that stillness, that emptiness, that peace, that joy, that love, when you go in there and find out who you really are, what do you do with it? You give it away. You give it away to every single person you meet. That's what love is. It's a gift. It's something you give. It's not something you get. It's not something you look for. It's just like the authentic self. It's not something you find. It's something you express. It's something you give. You want love? Well, give love. You want peace? Give peace. You want joy? Give joy. Love is the gift of who you actually are, given to every single person in every situation in your life. And it's the greatest gift you can give because no one else can give it. No one else can give what you can give because no one else is authentically you. No one else. I mean, God's pouring forth from you saying, Sandy, damn it, be Sandy. You're the moon. He's saying, Bill, damn it, be Bill. You know, Dusty, get out of the bush. Be Dusty. It's burning, man. He's saying be authentically you. It's saying be authentically you. Love is that which you give. It's the greatest gift of all, and that gift is yourself. That's what self-expression is. When this tree throws itself up, I finally got it. I ran out to the tree. I said, I got it, tree! The golf caddy told me. He said, what'd you read? The golf caddy told me. You're giving it all away. That's your secret. Because you're throwing it up. You're giving it all away. That's what your gift is. No one else can be you, and you give that to the world. God expressing itself through the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, you. So everyone you meet, you have this gift to give through love. Your presence, just your attention, just who you are. And that's the secret. That's what ties it all together. You go in to the silence. You find out who you are. You take that with you, and then you give it all away to every single person you meet. It finally made sense to me. The tree said, I don't worry about digging up. I dig down. Because down here is the ground of my being, and I get deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And up here, I just give it all away. So I went out to the tree. That night, late. Becky said, where are you going? Take out the trash. She said, where's the trash? I said, I don't know. I'm going to let the cat out. Where's the cat? So I go outside late that night, and I say, tree, I finally get it. I finally get it. You're just effortlessly you. Because you love. Because you give who you are effortlessly and harmoniously away, and your life becomes harmony. And the true? I've used the word true and abundance.
I know. You've done it all.
That's good. It's done. Dusty, did he talk about true abundance? He used those words. He used those exact words. Like twice. And the thing, yeah, it was very moving. So the tree wanted to tell me one more thing before I left. The tree wanted me to, just to have one little bit, one little tiny grain of wisdom. And the tree wasn't going to speak to me again. He says, you know, you've been drinking. And tomorrow you're not going to remember any of this. So I'm going to give you one more thing. This is great. This is wonderful. I'm going to give you one more thing. And I think it's important that I give it to you before we finish up. The tree said, I have no idea what's going to happen out here. I don't. I don't know if a storm's going to come and blow me over. I don't know if it's going to rain or if it's not going to rain. I don't know if the sun's going to shine tomorrow. When I give my leaves to the ground in the fall, I don't know that they're coming back in the spring. I don't know. I just give. I just give. I just give. And then I went inside. And Becky said, where you been? And I said, talking to a tree. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.